Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Weekly Wrestling Heat is proud to bring you our weekly show on Thursdays, 8 p.m. live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I am a host to Driving This Crazy Train of Wrestling Fans. My name is Elias, of course, and with me are my brand of misfits that others will call mid-carters, but we put them on the main event. On the round table for tonight's episode is from Grindstone 11. Is it
what?
Grindstone?
Your my YouTube channel?
Yeah, your
Average
YouTube
Wrestle
channel.
Fan.
Average Wrestle Fan, Mr. Angel. We got Morning Hookah, Mr. Matt, and from
hello.
Of course, my co-host and our author of our TikTok channel at Weekly Wrestling Heat, Moise.
Hi.
Oh, man, that was a brand new intro.
There you go. You got through it. There we go.
I liked it.
I know, right?
I liked that. That was
Guys,
nice.
I can't find our link.
To what? Our link is right here. I have I'm already trying to share it out on the Twitterverse and all sorts of stuff. Hey guys, if you are watching this live right now, I don't care if you are not sure where to share it to, but find somewhere right now to share it to, because you need to share the link for this show right now, because we're going to be getting into the guff and the muff and all sorts of fun stuff. So share out the link.
Can you share on Good Brothers?
Good, yeah, I'm going to share in Good Brothers right now. The Good Brothers, good friends of ours, in case you don't know that. Good Brothers, the Good Brothers, yeah. This is the wrestling, this is the YouTube link. We get all the comments on our StreamYard, though, right?
Yes,
we do. Yes, we do.
Cool. All right, it's shared. I shared it there. And this goes out to everyone watching. If you're watching this in the past, after we've already been live, share this as well to people. Share the link. Share the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers so that we can do a really fun giveaway where Moise is going to give away one of his shirts that got really sweaty from his excitement of Tiffany from NXT.
You know what? I'll tell you what.
True story. True story.
If we hit 100 subscribers, and
I'm going to cut this part right now.
And Tiffany Stratton has a T-shirt, I will buy it for a random person of that 100.
So our first giveaway will be 100 subscribers on YouTube, and we'll do a random raffle for a Tiffany. What's her last? Tiffany Stratton. I always want to say like Stradlin, but I feel like that's wrong for a lot of reasons.
I feel like that's another company, probably.
Maybe so, but he will buy we will do a raffle for a Tiffany shirt from NXT at 100 subs on YouTube.
If you don't have one, I'll get you a Tony D'Angelo or something. Someone that I like in NXT.
Tony D'Angelo, huh?
We will get you an NXT. You know what? Why don't we do an NXT shirt giveaway for 100 subscribers?
There we go. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay. All right.
We'll get into it and go from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the World Wrestling. But before we cover this week's action, we take a moment to talk about any matches or promos that we want to highlight this week. We're trying a new segment this week. It's called Best of This Week's Wrestling. Basically, all of us are going to come up with a match or a promo that pretty much caught our attention. Doesn't matter what promotion it is, what it is. It could be indie, it could be WWE, AEW, NXT. It could be MLW, Impact, whatever, NWA, New Japan, if you watched it. But let's get into it. Let's start off with Matt. What was your moment of the week? Your moment of this week?
The match, I picked a match this week that I wanted to highlight. We're going to be talking about a little bit probably for NXT during WWE Talk a little bit as well. But I wanted to talk about AJ Styles versus Grayson Waller. In the NXT main event this week. It was a very good match. After I watched it, I wrote it down right away because I didn't want to forget about it. I really enjoy just the chemistry that AJ Styles is able to bring to his match. He could have it's been said a million times before about other people, but I think it's very true about AJ as well. He could wrestle a broomstick and still have a good match. I think that it's very he's so well versed in how to sell, how to give, how to take everything, that he's just constantly a professional. And I think Grayson is actually a very good in the ring. I think he has a very good gimmick personality. I think he's doing really well, especially as a younger star and stuff. But AJ elevated that match, and I really think that it's special. I think every once in a while you remember that good wrestling sometimes it's easy, right? You just have a good match with two good wrestlers, and you have somebody that understands how to make that match flow. And then it's just good. It was just a very, very good match. And we'll talk about NXT probably a little bit later on. But I wanted to spend just a little bit of time and talk about that match because I don't know. It was, you forget how AJ's been teamed up with Omos Can't Wrestle for such a long time that you almost forgot that AJ can wrestle. See what I did there? And it was so upsetting to see him in that really bad tag team that anyone that says they liked him is lying to you. They're just marking out. And I'm just so glad. I'm just so very glad that he's not a part of that anymore. And we saw him wrestle this just
your
phenomenal
favorite wrestler loves
phenomenal match.
Your favorite wrestler loves Almost. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I gotta say.
I will say this. I thought that it was a big test on Grayson Waller himself being in the ring with somebody of AJ's caliber for him to be able to have a good showing. I think it built Grayson Waller up a little bit, and as well as the match flow, as you saw how it went, it shows that AJ is really giving and really knows how to work with any talent, no matter what level stage they're in.
The match that AJ had with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, whatever it was, like that was one of those moments where I was like, AJ is a 100% goat of professional wrestling. 100% a goat of professional wrestling.
I will agree because I honestly I think he's the best wrestler in the industry today, apart from Bryan Danielson.
Really quick question, Matt. Did you like AJ and Shane, or did you like Shane McMahon and Miz, or no?
I did, yeah. We watched that one together. We were all on the chat and stuff like that. Me and you loved it. I think everyone else in the chat hated it or something like that, but me and you totally loved it. I love Shane McMahon as a wrestler because he is the only good non-wrestler wrestler. We're gonna get off topic, so I'm not gonna go too far into it. But I love Shane McMahon matches, all of them, every one of them. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Shane McMahon match. I don't think I have.
No, I think he's had pretty good matches. I think one of my favorites is Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon at King of the Ring. I thought that was one of his best matches. Angel?
My moment of the week.
Yes.
Oh, there's so many. I think how can you probably pretty much go away from anything other than probably the biggest talking point of the show last night? MJF Wardlow, I think, is probably the moment of the week for me. Obviously, y'all can laugh all you want. I think it's the biggest moment.
It's mine too.
Well, there we go. You see,
it's mine too.
It's amazing to think how Wardlow debuted versus where he's at right now in the company. If y'all don't remember, he was in a parking lot street and everyone made fun of his name. What the heck is a Wardlow? And now here we are. He absolutely, and we'll talk about the specifics of it, but he absolutely squashed his opponent. Easy win, and the turn that's coming is going to set him on fire.
I will say this:
the biggest issue is it's almost too good because it kind of hurts the Punk MJF feud because it was so good. So, but yeah, that's really the moment I think you have to go out of your way to see.
I will say this: I will give credit to AEW on something. I think that AEW does a perfect job doing long-term storytelling, and I think that this one is a perfect example of it. That is showing a slow face turn for Wardlow, especially going put him in the program with MJF and stuff like that. So I will say that is one of the top moments that I can say that one of the storylines is fitting perfectly. Another one would be the Hangman Page got the whole Hangman Page story to him becoming world champion. But Moise, is you got anything to add, or you want to share your moment of the week?
That match was freaking awesome. I loved it. I think Wardlow's a star. I loved him since day one. I was backing out of the feud. Like I was starting to get to the point of CM Punk and MJF where I was like, but then he came up and he hit a home run and I loved it. And I think a very, very quiet reason I'm liking Wardlow so much right now is MJF's like, I'm too good for you, so Shawn Spears is going to babysit you. And I think it's hilarious. Like, Shawn Spears is over here attacking his opponents, and he's like pinned a guy, and Wardlow's like, nah, I'm going to destroy him. And I think it's written in stone that Shawn Spears is about to get destroyed, and Shawn Spears knows that too before MJF.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree on that. All right, so my moment is pretty much something that happened last Friday, which kind of is a fallout from what happened at day one, but the Usos versus the New Day. I think whenever these guys have matches, they have the perfect chemistry. I feel that there hasn't been a bad match we've seen with the Usos and the New Day. I love the day one finisher, which is a tribute to the 3D that they came up with at day one, and even still now to win the street fight that they had. I think it's one of those situations that it's putting it shows how good WWE can sometimes knock certain feuds or certain matches out the park. And I think that's one of the main matches that I loved about SmackDown last Friday.
Like I said before, when I watched day one, my match of the night practically was the Usos and the New Day. And I think, like I said, with the AJ Styles and Grayson Waller thing, like sometimes wrestling is pretty simple. Like you just put people that understand how to have a good match together, and you get a good match and stuff. But I don't know.
If Usos aren't in your top 10 tag teams of all time, I don't want to talk wrestling to you.
All right, but
I don't know if they're in my top 10.
But let's ask our weekly wrestling heat crowd, what was your favorite moment of this week? Like, what was it? What was the one match, the one thing that stood out for you this week? Let us know in the comments. Let us know on our social media pages, Weekly Wrestling Heat, Weekly Wrestling Heat TV, Weekly Wrestling Heat on YouTube, on Facebook. Just let us know. Even if it's after this, let us know what you think. Let us know what was your favorite match of this week.
I think what we'll do in the future, Elias, tell me what you think about this, because we're going to be having a group. I don't think we're quite ready to start inviting people into it right now, but we're going to have a Facebook group. Obviously, there's been a page for a long time. We're going to have a group where we can kind of all get together on this. And what we'll do is we'll starting on maybe on Monday, we will do we'll maybe not quite. I don't know. We'll talk about the details later, but we'll do a poll every week. And we'll have you guys add in those things so that we can try to get a better idea of what the audience, what your number one either promo or match of the week that we should spend a little bit more time talking about, and we'll include that in here as well. But if you're just watching right now, we would love to hear about a moment, a promo, a match, whatever the case may be. We want to know what you thought about this week of wrestling. But let's see what else we got planned for the night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about what we have in the world. What happened this week in wrestling? Let's start off. Let's cover it. Let's start off with a couple of things. Let's get into start talking about WWE this week in WWE specifically. Let's start off with a couple of storylines that have been building within the past couple of weeks. Let's kick it off with Raw with Bobby and Brock Lesnar. And I will say this. I am loving this Brock Lesnar. I'm loving this version of Brock Lesnar.
For sure.
I think that this is the most fun he's had in years, and I think he's just being him. I think one of my favorite moments in that promo with Bobby Lashley this Monday was him actually doing the freaking Paul Heyman intro, and then doing the knock joke, and then just seeing Paul Heyman being like Brock Lesnar doing a knock joke in Philadelphia. There's something I thought I wouldn't see.
Yeah. 2022, we're getting knock jokes from Brock Lesnar.
I'm going to be upset.
And it's good.
I'm going to be upset, though, if the match that we get is like new Brock Lesnar and not like old Brock Lesnar. If we still get heel Brock Lesnar style match, but face Brock Lesnar style personality, like I want to see face Brock Lesnar matches. I want to see those old school matches that we were accustomed to before his comeback and before he was heel Brock Lesnar. Even during the beginning of his run in WWE, when he first came back and had matches against John Cena and stuff like that. Like I want to see those quality of matches again, where he didn't just suplex his opponent 100 times and then but the only difference is now he has a smile on his face. Like I like that will upset me if we're not seeing a difference in his actual fighting style, just his promos, which the guy's he's never been great on the microphone until right now. And you can tell like the years of getting seasoned into where he's at right now. Like it's a mixture of like, I don't care / I really care a lot, which is a weird thing to say, but like you can tell he's having a good time, which I agree with.
I think completely,
but I would be upset
with that.
Yeah. with matches though. If the matches are not at the same level of his new persona, I'll be upset.
I think that this match with Bobby Lashley is going to bring out that athletic side or the wrestling in him, because Bobby Lashley isn't going to be a walk in the park, as we saw as they built them. Even in the day one match, he did not get any real offense against Bobby Lashley. So I'm interested to see how they're going to build this match and how this match is going to play out. If we see a little bit of technicality out of both of them, I think it'll be good, or a little bit at least ground mat work, or even just power moves, and they just like kind of have a standoff and some things. I think it'll be cool to see.
I love Brock on the mic on Monday. I just think he made Bobby look silly. I think Bobby looked really bad.
Does Bobby ever? Okay, I'm sorry, but like I don't care for Bobby Lashley all that much. Like what's the price? Like the only time Bobby Lashley was looking good is when he had a mouthpiece of MVP talking for him.
Well, MVP's still there, so why? Well, I will honestly, I just give it to MVP to take the reins.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like Bobby's never been the impressive person. Like
he's never been really good on the mic, so it's always been he's always been decent, but it's never been like.
You know why though? It's because they're gonna have Brock Lesnar win. It's because Brock is going to win this match, and they definitely don't want like Bobby to look good in defeat because they're going to squash him, so that then he can go on and squash Big E, and then just do the same thing that he did for last year when he was champion, or 2 years ago.
Here's my going into my conspiracy side. What if, because this is a match that people have been waiting to see for years. This is one match that. A lot of the WWE universe, a lot of wrestling fans in general have been wanting to see Bobby Lashley.
But have you been wanting to watch this for years, Angel? Have you thought to yourself like, you know what would be a good match?
When he came,
Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
When Bobby came back, and that was, I guess that was in the middle of Brock's like suplex type stuff. But if this was a legit match, like we're talking more than just spamming finishers. This is a good match, and I could see these guys doing real. I say real, you know what I mean, like MMA type.
But that's what I'm worried about. We're not going to see, right? Like I have no faith in WWE, and I feel like we're just going to be let down.
We're going to hate it when it happens.
Spear, F5 spear, German suplex. Yeah, that's what we're getting. Yeah.
But does Brock Lesnar do a shooting star press?
No.
What's the over under on that? I want to know.
I'll take 2% under, and then still be under.
What would you do if you did
it would be cool. I hope I just hope with Brock, the character that he's doing now, that he does seem to care a little bit more, that he would go a little bit further with it.
A suplex but that's all I guess. Technical wrestling though, right?
I mean, not the way Brock Lesnar does it. He just throws people around like a rag doll, basically.
Here's a more realistic question. Does either man go to the top rope?
In this match? No. Do they go to the top rope willingly to do a move off of it, or do they put their opponent on the top rope to do a move off it?
I could see like a back suplex.
I can see a superplex.
Yeah.
I can see a superplex off the top rope out of one of them, but I'm really hoping that they make this more than just power moves or make one person look better.
What makes you believe it won't be, Elias? That's my only question to you. What makes you believe that it won't be that? Because I lost faith in the Brock Lesnar style of matches after the Randy Orton match. I was so excited for Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar.
Brock and AJ?
Huh?
Brock and AJ was pretty good.
Brock and Bryan?
Daniel Bryan was the best match out of all of them, by far the best match out of all of them, and it was still a terrible squash match. But it was the Randy Orton match that was the first one. That was this big, I'm gonna bust him open and be super heel Brock Lesnar. But that match, I believed in it. I was like, we're gonna see Brock Lesnar that we loved back in the day, and he's gonna be such a good professional wrestler, and this match is gonna be great. And then it was so bad. It was such a bad match.
He gave you the finger. That's what he did.
My only thing is this is because I already kind of have a feeling where this is going to go, which I hope it doesn't happen, because I kind of do want to see the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship defended on WrestleMania. but I kind of see a screwy finish off of this one. I see Bobby Lashley winning, but that's because Roman Reigns is going to help him.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
I can see
I don't
Roman
see it.
helping him, and then that becoming the Mania thing. Yeah,
Because
I
all
hate this
roads
company that we think that's the good outcome.
that's the thing. Like,
Jesus Christ.
but like I said, 2022 has started off weird with WWE because they're actually doing shit that's doing stuff that literally.
I do think
that
the Royal
surprised
Rumble.
a couple of people.
I do believe that the Royal Rumble is going to be something very far out of left field. I really do believe that. Like I don't have like a prediction that's like worthy of like of like making it adequate. But like I remember like the year that like Alberto Del Rio won it was pretty out of left field for the most part. The year that Sheamus won it was kind of out of left field too when it happened. Like a lot of people look back at it and they're like, well, of course he won. It's like, yeah, but we did not see that coming at the time.
Do you remember the final two when Alberto won it?
Yeah, it was Alberto and well, you mean Santana or not Santana, but Santino. Or do you remember who it was before him? Who was it before Santino? Do you remember?
Daniel Bryan,
Chris Jericho.
Oh,
and I remember thinking like, oh man, I totally believe Chris Jericho is going to win this match. And then he eliminates him, and then Santino came in. I was like, no way, they're going to do this, and they didn't. Thank God. But that was pretty good. That was great. That was a wonderful ending, and it was really far out of left field for the most part, out of what they could have done. And I believe, I trust that they're going to do something like that. It's going to be a good finish. I love the Royal Rumble, first off, so I'm a little bit of a mark for it. So I'm biased in what I'm talking about, but like I do believe that like we have the ability to get something worth watching after the Royal Rumble happens.
Well, let's be honest. Right now, so far, and this is like kind of just skipping a little bit, but let's be honest. Right now, 2022, the Royal Rumble is already surprising because they announced a couple of the women in the Royal Rumble, and far left field, Mickie James was added to the Rumble, and she's being recognized as the Impact Women's Knockouts champion.
One time.
No, but that's something like
yeah, but it was social media. It was social media. That's a pretty big deal. I don't think
it doesn't matter. It was
McAfee announced her as the Impact champion on SmackDown.
Yeah,
so it's pretty important. I think it's pretty big.
It's pretty big because this is something that WWE never does.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is pretty big.
In the Spectrum world of WWE, you never see them say, hey, this...
Well, actually, back in 1997, when they didn't have many wrestlers, they had the AAA organization loaned them a few of their wrestlers to join in for the Royal Rumble, and El Santos didn't think that he should job to anyone, so he jumped over the rope and eliminated himself. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but that's the truth.
Is that Moise?
No, that was Matt with 2 T's.
So anyways,
wait, is that going a true story?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, that is true.
What don't you know about that? That was all true.
That is true. The guy went in there and just eliminated himself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't allow
Forbidden Rumble. Hey, leave those comments up longer, Elias. You're so gun happy sometimes. You're like, did you see it? Ha, you didn't see it. Ha ha ha. Leave it up there. Let people enjoy it. Okay.
The other big thing, we might as well move on at this point.
Yeah.
Moise brought it up about 10 minutes ago. The Roman Reigns thing, his feud with Seth. And this is the one time of the year where teams from other brands are going to fight each other. This is it.
Don't stop it. You're just being an ass now.
What happened to Survivor Series?
This is the one time of year.
I like this guy.
We're ever gonna see this.
We did not do enough shows before this.
So
no, but I think it's funny because the whole time during SmackDown, he was like, I already beat everybody on the roster, everybody big on the roster. Surprise me, and then show finishes and you hear the door knock as the Shield door knock, and you're like, you just see Seth Rollins come in and start laughing. I'm sitting there like, I thought he was in Raw, but I like it, but I thought he was in Raw on Raw.
Oops.
Rollins has never lost to Roman, right? Is that the story going into this?
Is it? I don't.
You think they have a story? I think it's just happening.
I think
I'm pretty sure this is just happening. Yeah,
it's just happening.
So I don't think it was supposed to be Jeff Hardy. You guys, before Jeff went on his whatever.
Says who?
I don't know about that one.
I've read multiple reports. Yeah, I can put them up. Yeah.
Oh, whatever. It's a report. Who cares? What we're seeing is what we're seeing. And Seth Reigns could be a good.
I wouldn't be surprised though if it was supposed to
match.
be somebody else. They've released so many people in the last few months that like they definitely had plans that probably didn't get lived up to because they're like, oh, you got rid of him before we finished that story that we were gonna do.
And then Drew also had the neck injury, which I think is a blessing in disguise. I think he's gonna come back more over than he left.
I agree with that, but I miss him already. I really, really like Drew McIntyre a lot.
Yeah. I mean, from a storyline standpoint in the company, I think these are really the only two big ones I can think of, you guys.
No, I agree. I think
I really don't know of anything else.
Yeah,
nothing really stands out. Nothing. I mean, we could talk about the Rhea Ripley.
Nope. I don't want to talk about a fake superhero. I don't want to talk about a fake superhero.
But all right, let's get into matches.
Did you hate the Hurricane too?
No, I love the Hurricane. But you know what Nikki doesn't have that the Hurricane had? My favorite word, charisma.
Nikki.
All right.
Okay, let's move on.
Getting into the matches of this week. I know we kind of had a couple of things. Dusty.
I want to talk about two things that I noticed on NXT. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Dusty tag team match that happened. There was a tag team finish that was DQ for a 5-second move. the ropes. 92 Royal Rumble Flair. Yeah, Flair was Forbidden Door. He came in with the NWA World Heavyweight Championship WCW of the world.
Wait, like, is Chris talking about Nikki Bella or Nikki ASH?
Nikki ASH. Didn't she win the championship for a week?
Yeah. A couple of months.
Not a couple of months. Don't even.
It was like a month or two.
It was not even. It was 3 days and 4 hours. Anyways, I thought she was wearing the 24/7 belt. Anyways.
That's Dana Brooke.
I liked that they used a 5-second disqualification. I actually really liked that, and I liked that there was a count out. It was a double count out. So I don't know how I feel about that as much, but I legitimately like when we see different ways of winning and losing matches to remind us that these things are still possible. And I think that because NXT has done their restart and their 2.0, and let's be honest, this was the first week of the new NXT. I feel like this is the start, honestly, of NXT. The only person we saw LA Knight come back at the end of the show. We saw Pete Dunne lose though. So like this is a fresh start, and I feel like it's a positive thing to have different ways for your talent to win or lose matches. I think that's really, really good. The first time we saw the 60-minute time limit in AEW, it was the best finish at that moment. It was absolutely. Really now we've had 3, and now it's already annoying. What?
The last 3 weeks, I don't know if Angel and you have been watching NXT, but they've really been trying to build Idris Enofe as a like up and comer. He's got a good story. You guys can Wikipedia it. He served in the army. Really good guy. So they've been building him, and so him. And
which one is this?
He's the taller one, not the bald one, not the short bald one. The taller
on the team on the team that they beat. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So Idris Enofe is what his character name is, but I think they're having these two go in as the underdog tag team, obviously, right? Like whoever they face first round will be like, oh, you guys didn't even win properly, and then probably lose, right?
Be like a Street Profits scenario, depending on who they actually face and stuff.
Yeah, I think in a sense like that.
I just really liked seeing those 2 different finishes, and that's kind of what I wanted to bring up for this week and stuff. So that was it for me.
And I think with the double DQ with Solo Sikoa and Boa, I think they already their feud is kind of building to that a big
no holds bar
kind of
style.
Inferno. What? Why Inferno?
The Fireball.
Oh. Don't do that. No. You know what though? The Fireball looked pretty good. I was actually, until he like just kept selling it, like they stayed on him a little bit too long, I thought. But like when the Fireball first happened, I thought like, oh man, that was a pretty good looking Fireball. Pretty good job. Especially there's been a lot of bad Fireballs in wrestling. That's all I'm saying.
Bruce Prichard is writing NXT now, so we had to expect a Fireball coming sometime.
All right, what are your thoughts of Alpha Academy winning the tag titles from RK Bro?
Yeah, well, this is dumb. Just from a storyline perspective, a quality team standpoint, right? Alpha Academy hasn't won a tag match, I don't believe, in over a year.
They beat
As
the
a tag
Mysterios like 4
team.
weeks ago, bro.
As a tag team. No, okay, one. Cool. They won one match over a month ago. And that was the one match in over a year. I don't care. That's still not good. And
Didn't they
pin
beat the Street
these
Profits a
guys?
couple of times on SmackDown?
No.
I think they did when they broke what's his face's ribs, Elias.
Yeah,
when
they did.
Broke Montez's ribs.
Yeah.
Okay, they have.
I mean, they build them up. They build them up. They're
reaching.
trying to build them up. They're trying
talking
to build
about-
them
They're
up.
trying to
whole
build
other
them up
show.
by putting the belts on them.
Yes, you can't put
Weird
them
way of
Whoa,
doing
whoa,
it. I don't know.
whoa! Matt's the last person that can critique or laugh at this because Randy Orton doesn't take the pin for anyone.
He doesn't.
He did though.
He took it for Otis, and he took.
I
it
didn't say he
for-
doesn't take
so-
the pin for
so-
anyone. You're
And
hyperflating what I said.
No. 1 second. And he took it for Riddle, and he took it for Keith Lee. So that's
You're
3 in a row now.
justifying
Yeah.
Alpha Academy beating RK Bro, one of the most over acts in this entire
RK Bro's
company.
getting it back in 2 weeks. I promise you.
Then what's the point?
What's the point of playing hot potato with a title?
That's well, no, they have been. I don't know. I thought me myself. I thought the change was weird. It came out of left field.
Wow, you hear
Like,
Elias is saying this, guys. So like this, you know that like there's something.
I don't like it either. I just like that it proves Matt wrong that Randy Orton's taking pinfalls now.
Let's go through. You know what? We'll talk about this off the air, okay? What about Escobar and Quinn?
I like Legato and the turn that we thought was gonna come from Elektra Lopez, and then she just ended up turning on Zion Quinn. I thought was that little cherry on top for them to show that they're still a unit.
He didn't mention LWO, right, guys? He didn't mention LWO this week. Okay,
He
good.
did not.
No.
But why'd you bring it
Okay.
up?
Because
This one.
Elias has this. Elias has this fantasy that Dominic Mysterio is going to join them and they're going to become the LWO.
That is a major fantasy. That is living on the edge of fantasy.
But Elektra Lopez looked like $1 million. So
I want to talk about Braun Breaker real quick, and I want to talk about his quote unquote promo, if that's what you want to call it. It sounded like the ramblings of an overprivileged Steiner, because I thought the promo was terrible. Just in a general sense of like what he was saying. It's like, I can get really loud and yell and beat. I look at my muscles on muscles. I'm strong, therefore I'm champion. I worked really hard for the last 3 months to do this, and I'm good. But there was already people booing him in the audience.
People are,
A
okay.
lot.
I've been waiting for you to bring this up.
Moyes tells me the reason why people are booing is because they love Tommaso Ciampa, and it's like, of course they're going to boo him. Of course they are. But if he was over as a babyface, they wouldn't boo him because he's not over as a babyface.
He's not a full-fledged babyface yet.
He is a full-fledged. What are you talking about?
Okay. 1 second, Matt. Answer one question for me. What's his first?
He kicked.
Okay, what was his first babyface feud? That's all I'm asking.
He hasn't had a first feud. The
Exactly. So
dude
he's a heel
has
still.
8 matches in, and he's been given the biggest title in their company. It's
Matt, he's still a heel.
He's not a heel. He's not.
He's a tweener. Sorry. Whatever.
He's a
Like,
tweener.
Oh my God.
I will say this.
One second. Sorry. Has he had a face feud yet?
He hasn't had a heel feud either.
Has he
Just
had
because he was the
has,
heel-
Also.
That's
And
just
War
because
Games, and
just
War
because
Games.
just because he's the least liked person in that feud does not make him the heel in the
War
feud as a
Games.
actual.
Okay, what
War
about the
Games- What are you talking about? You're telling me all of 2.0 is a heel?
Word
all of
heel,
2.0?
Yes.
What are they
They're
now?
not.
What are they now? What are they now?
He turned face the week after when Grayson Waller came into the locker room and he's like, yo, and he's like, get out of the locker room. We don't treat our legends like that. That's when
That was a bad promo. That was a bad promo. People are already booing him. He's not over, and they've gone too quickly about handing him a belt that he's not going to be able to carry for this company. That's all I'm saying.
When his first feud gets announced, I will be with you. If he's still getting booed during his first feud,
Nobody even came out. No one even came out during his promo.
So
I think
when it's Tony D'Angelo or Grayson Waller, if he's still getting booed, Matt, I'm completely with you.
Okay.
I will say this. I think that his first feud is going to be Grayson Waller, and I think this is going to.
I think it's Walter.
Yeah, it's not going to be. It's not going to be Walter, because Walter would get
Walter would
the. Yeah, he would have
to go main roster.
He would have to.
Well,
Grayson, I think, is going to be busy with the LA Knight stuff, and I don't think he's done with AJ completely. His first feud is going to be Tony D'Angelo, because he can beat Tony D'Angelo, and they're both the same mid card that they were before. So it won't affect either one.
We love Tony D'Angelo here.
You love Tony D'Angelo.
Here's the thing. Tony D'Angelo.
He looks like you. That's why I like him. So
Tony D'Angelo is the heel. So Tony D'Angelo, Grayson Waller, and who's the North American champion? Carmelo are the heels in NXT right now. So
didn't they like join that in the cruiserweight title recently?
Yeah, they call it the North American title. Regardless, they killed the.
They just killed
it. Yeah, but I think those are the three heels in NXT right now, and I think what they're gonna do is I feel that it was too soon to have Braun Breaker as champion. I felt that they should have done another match, but with Ciampa,
they should have had somebody else. Sorry.
I agree. They should have had somebody else take the championship off and then build it to that. But
a legitimate heel.
Yeah, and then build them up as the baby face.
Look at what AEW did with their first champion. Like, I was annoyed that Chris Jericho won that championship. Guess what? It worked. I was angry that this guy won it, and he owned up to that.
It's a relaunch. There's technically no faces or heels, right?
No.
Where?
If you are relaunching with everybody in neutral position, you're doing a bad job of writing a story. That's a bad booking.
That may be why Bruce Pritchard took over. But anyways, moving on.
Let's move on.
Now that's it. That's it with WWE. Let's hop into hot topics with AEW.
Oh yes, let's do it.
Let's talk about Battle of the Belts this past Saturday. What were your overall thoughts on it?
I have an interesting perspective on it. My brother, who's very, very much a big fan, had no clue that this was a separate thing from Rampage. I thought that was kind of interesting to hear. I don't know how many other people that happened to, because this was one of the highest rated shows, and I think for good reason. There was a lot of good stuff on that show.
Angel. I was listening to Peter Rosenberg, and they said what they should have just done is label this championship week or something, because all the titles were defended this week.
Mm-hmm.
So then it wouldn't make Battle of the Belts look weak, like a weak card, like how Justin was saying in our group chat. You could.
Well, I thought it was pointless. I thought it was pointless because, like, me,
of course you did.
why I did like the match, hopping into it. Why I did like the match between Sammy and Dustin. I thought that placing the intern title, since Cody is coming back next week,
he's already coming back. Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. Like, I mean, kind of dumb. Like, you
get instant storyline though. You get instant storyline.
God forbid, what if Cody really got sick really got sick? Then what do you do?
I know. I think, Elias, while I get where you're coming from by saying, like, I think it's dumb, like, I'm not going to I don't disagree with your opinion of what you feel about it, but I really don't get, like, your frustration garnered towards it. Like, I get it.
UFC doesn't do
it's no frustration. It's just I just didn't like the
you keep saying it though. You keep you keep bringing it up over. Like, I know, I get it. You don't like it. We all get it.
It's a week and a half. It's 2 weeks
but we don't know.
I know what should have happened. Hold on,
what should have happened? Oh god, this is gonna be good. I like this already.
This would have helped Elias understand it. They should have just had, like, I don't know who's like the bottom of the rankings, who's like 0-28. They should have just had Sean Dean pull it off of Cody and then have Cody win it again next week, just like the tag belts.
Then he would have been like, that was a really good booking decision.
There we go. That
they were building up Lee Moriarty by giving him the belt and then taking it away.
Since I am on your guys' side, I don't mind it. Like I said, it happened in UFC all the time too, so I don't mind it. But what if they did number one contenders instead? What if they were like, okay,
that was my annoyance.
I would have loved
That's
that
what
better.
I didn't like about it. That's what I was so annoyed. Like, when the Scorpio Sky promo happened on Rampage before that, and they're like, why isn't he the person that's going to be having this match? I instantly thought, like, they should have instantly wrote it right there that it was a three-way dance for it.
Or even Scorpio and Sammy only, yeah.
I could see the whole the justification for Dustin.
I have a problem with the competitors in the match, right? Like, the competitors in the match was a problem. The match happening and what it was for was not the issue with that match.
But one last thing I do want to say is that when you get COVID, you don't know how sick you're going to get. So
100% agree. I agree.
100% agree.
If did need to be out a month, you have to do an interim title. Like, there's no way around it.
Right. I don't think anyone's disagree with that.
I would have preferred I never liked the interim titles, even in MMA nor boxing. So it's like it's
you
just
don't like that. I don't get it. I'm so
I
confused.
just don't.
I just don't.
Okay,
It's just
so you would rather
All right.
Cody be off TV?
Let's go.
Dirty
Let's
Wait,
go.
wait, wait,
Move
Let's
on.
move
Let's
on.
move on.
Let's move on.
One last thing.
The-
You would rather
Do you wanna
I'm
know
not
what
gonna change my
legitimate-
opinion about it, so I
Hey,
don't care.
Do you know
Like-
what a legitimate pointless match to happen on this card was? A legitimate pointless match that was even admitted to being pointless while the match was happening was the FTW Championship. Ricky Starks defeating Matt
Oh.
Sydal was absolute pointless. And you know who did it?
was.
The person that did it was Taz. He's the one that sold it as being pointless because he literally said, this title isn't even, people don't even consider it a title here at AEW. It was pointless. And here's the problem with it. Is there's still not a purpose or a reason for the FTW title to exist. When they first brought it in with Brian Cage, I freaking loved it. I like Team Taz. I like what they're doing with the majority of the talent involved with it. Me and Elias were probably watching it the night of that happened.
Yeah, we were.
I was literally like, oh my God, it's the FTW. Like before he literally announced it, I literally wrote to Elias and I was like, oh, it's going to be FTW. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm going to totally mark out for this. I love the FTW concept and title, but the fact that they're unwilling to recognize it as a title in AEW is a bad move from them, and to allow it to be on their quote unquote special, which is called Battle of the Belts, it was almost like you could have blinked extendedly, opened your eyes, the match was over, and it's the exact same thing because that match technically didn't matter in the lore of championships of AEW. That's it. That's all I got.
You pretty much
I
said
think
everything.
eventually it will, and that'll be cool. But
How long has it been? Like,
I think you saying
hope
that.
it does.
I think you saying that is kind of like Elias expecting the next Brock Lesnar match to be good.
it will be good. It's Brock Lesnar. Everyone will pop. You always pop for Brock.
That doesn't mean it's good.
It doesn't mean
It's always great. You're gonna leave. You're gonna be like, man, that Brock Lesnar. He entered the building.
even me being the WWE
Anyway,
guy in the group.
the
front door.
The other, we touched on the match with Sammy. Overall, we all agreed it was a good match, regardless.
Good
So,
match.
Yeah.
Yes.
everyone liked the match.
Give
I think
Dustin his flowers. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was saying Dustin doing what he did. People had
Is
a
he Hall
problem
of
with
Fame
it. I
yet?
think
Is he WWE Hall of Fame yet?
No, he's
Matt?
not.
probably not.
Sadly,
I doubt
he
it.
won't be now. Like that.
No,
Like that's
he will
that-
be.
I
He
don't
will
know.
be.
Like after AEW goes under, I guess, but like he ain't gonna do it while he's.
I'll put it like this. I'll tell you. Like
I sure
this,
hope
Eric.
so. It would be
I'll tell
a
you like
crime
I
to
will
not
tell you
have.
like this and-
yeah.
I will tell you like this, and then we'll move on to the next match. I think that Dustin has shown that he is for the people.
He's for wrestling. He's for wrestling.
So give him his flowers, because that man, even at his age, he's still performing like he's still in his early 30s, 40s.
One
So-
last thing to say, and I'd love to hear what Angel has to say about this too. I thought it was really bad booking decision to have him take a go to hell, a GTH, and kick out of it. I thought that was really poor booking from AEW. Like, I didn't see the point or the reason behind it. Like, why would you have a old guy, let's call it like it is as well, like an old guy, kick out of a move that is supposed to be very devastating, and they're slowly destroying the GTH to the point where it can't. I don't. It's not interesting to see GTS versus GTH.
Only thing I can think of is Sammy has tried to make a very big deal also of his 630.
Yeah.
And
Which looks really cool.
Not that he hasn't picked, but if you're gonna kick out of one, I think the GTH is the one that makes a little more sense. Maybe
You're getting kicked on the back of the head.
I think there should have been a different move there, but
yeah,
we also had a kick out of or no, what is it called?
The Canadian Destroyer through a fucking table.
There was a lot of time.
God,
apologies. I'm sorry. That one annoyed me.
This was
I'm
your
sorry.
decision to not have any cursing, and you have already ruined it.
And I brought it up. You brought it up. You said it first.
You said no cursing.
I just agreed with it.
Moise flipped out. I think he almost left the group.
And I agreed with you.
And
I messed up.
Here we go.
I'm
so
sorry.
yeah,
And I've been good. I've been good today.
Yeah, Elias cursed. You cursed. Moise and I are being the good guys here.
That's weird.
It's really weird.
Continuing forward, the other match, and then we'll skip through to some other amazing storylines that are going on. Brett Baker Riho, Britt won finally. Whoop-de-doo. I think nobody saw her not winning, so
I think it just added to the storyline of Jamie Hayter turning on Britt Baker.
It definitely did. I want to take a poll out of us here, okay? I really like Britt Baker a lot. I like her a lot, and I like her as champion pretty good. I think Britt Baker is better chasing the championship than she is holding the championship for this long of time.
I will sort of agree, but I like her as champion because of the fact that she is taking the heel character and running with it. That's what made me love Britt Baker. When she was a face, she was kind of in the bottom of the barrel, but as soon as she turned heel was when she literally took off and started becoming the Britt Baker that she is now. So
get back here, Angel. I need you to back me up on this.
I have a Britt Baker point, but I'm gonna bring it up during the Impact when we go over Hard to Kill.
Oh, okay, interesting. I just like her more as chasing that title than holding it for an extended period of time, I guess is where I was coming from. But yeah, let's move on to the next part.
All right, so talking about Britt Baker, what is your feelings? Because yesterday, we finally got acknowledgement of the relationship of Adam Cole and Britt Baker.
Took a while. They kind of hinted at it though. They did hint at it for sure.
I hated.
Why'd you hate it?
Why? I liked it.
It's real.
It's real. I know it's real. Britt is bigger than whatever the hell they're doing.
I don't know about that because eventually Kenny Omega is going to be a part of this storyline too.
No. Britt is right now. She is bigger than whatever they're doing, and
I don't know about that.
Not only that. I'm tired of seeing these 8 men in a ring together.
Agreed with that.
Not only that, one more thing I'm going to add. Adam Cole has been booked piss poor compared to NXT in AEW.
He's undefeated. He's
feuding with mid-carders whose names we don't know.
So
you don't know who Orange Cassidy is?
I disagree on
that one.
Moise, that's you're exaggerating your point because I don't disagree with what you're saying because I do think he was booked better in NXT overall. But we're still in the beginning phase of his time, so calm down a little bit. Let him build up.
He's the number 1 ranked.
But the people that he's feuding with,
he's beating guys like Lee Moriarty.
No. Who
the hell is Gentleman Taylor?
No. The people that he's feuding with when he first came in the building were Jungle Boy. He's feuding with Orange Cassidy, the Best Friends. These are some of the most popular mid-carders. I'm agreeing with you, but you're exaggerating your point because they are the most popular in this building and the people that the fans want to cheer. And he's a heel, and he's beating them. What do you want differently?
Angel, is Britt Baker above this storyline right now that's going on?
No.
Do you like?
I don't know how you see that. I don't know what you're seeing with that.
She's beating Chris. She doesn't need to go back to this.
Chris needs to win that title off of her.
Chris just had a vignette later on in the show against Layla Hirsch.
Yeah,
why do you assume it's that?
No, I understand. But then next week it's the mixed tag.
But that's just AEW's bad matches that they constantly do with 6 and 8-man tags.
I agree with Moise to a certain extent because I like the people that he's been facing. While I feel that he should be in the main event scene with the title, I think that's the main storyline. Hold on. I think that they're building towards it because if you look at it with the addition of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and with the stuff with the Young Bucks, it's turning into that. It's going to turn into that main event scene.
This is a storyline that's above the. Here's the thing: is not all wrestlers need titles, and not all stories need to end with somebody getting a belt. This is a storyline that you're getting interested in to watch for the reasons. It's honestly a lot like the Attitude. It's a lot like the Attitude Era back in the day when everybody had something to do. Now, this is not a mid-card storyline. This is not a top card storyline. This is just a story that is happening that wrestling fans who care about the Elite and care about Adam Cole and Mount Rushmore Wrestling and all those indie type things, this is a storyline for them to watch and enjoy. Yes, Moise.
Go ahead.
You're on the dial.
2 points. I just want to make 2 points. I'm done.
Okay.
Brandon Cutler is the most entertaining thing about this feud.
You're an idiot. I'm sorry. You just made the freaking list
here.
Okay, and number 2 is, man, I like the Young Bucks more than Red Dragon, and I don't think that's what AEW wants out of this.
I think it is.
I think it is.
I think it is 100%.
And this is weird because I'm agreeing with Moise. I'm agreeing with Matt and Angel here. And I'm the one that usually disagrees.
No, but why do I like the Young Bucks more than Red Dragon? It's not
because you really hate Kyle O'Reilly. Because you don't like good wrestling. That's why.
Because Kyle O'Reilly and Fish are the second and third least charismatic people on that roster. Number 1.
I don't know how you get that with Kyle O'Reilly. I do not understand how you see that with Kyle O'Reilly. I don't get that. I really don't.
Kyle O'Reilly's gimmick is the 6th grader that you don't leave alone with scissors. That's what it is.
I don't understand. I do not get. I understand a lot about you, Moise. I understand a lot about you. I do not understand the Kyle O'Reilly hate and slander that you spend. I don't understand that.
The most over thing Kyle O'Reilly done is play air guitar with the belt, and that wasn't his own thing.
I don't know. I don't get it. I'm confused. You've confused me, Moise. I can't. You know what you've done? You've turned this into an argument that I can't even argue against because your points are so far out there that it's like, how do I even begin to talk to you about this thing? I can't.
I will say, not the worst.
It's like arguing with Elias about an interim belt. That's what this conversation is. I can't do it. I can't.
My biggest thing. What?
Go, Angel.
They're not the least charismatic. That's all I'll say.
I'm calling on you, Angel. Stop.
My big thing is just because it's not the thing that's ending the show does not mean this isn't one of the most main storylines within the company. Like
as a storyline,
it does not need to have a belt directly involved. Even if it does, it will probably because they putting over Cole as number 1. The first thing he says tonight was,
they keep talking about it.
I am not been pinned. I have not submitted. Nobody in this company can beat me, basically.
This is one of the things sorry to cut you off, but this is go back to the main point I made earlier about the storytelling with AEW. This is their long-term booking storytelling that they're getting by introducing him, and they're getting it right by adding the Red Dragon to it. And then you're good. It goes back to before AEW was founded on how they turned on Adam Cole.
Dude, no one cares about that, Elias.
You're very wrong.
You're very wrong because
you're very wrong.
Because it's a continuation of a story. Like if you really watch AEW, if you've been following the Elite, if you've been following them since the get-go, you'll understand everything.
90% of their audience that's watching on TV isn't.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know about that. I think that AEW.
Pull up the BT numbers on YouTube and pull up the ratings.
Yeah, I was say I'm pretty sure it's about right.
It's about a third, like a tenth of the people of their audience that they have that does.
My only thing, and I'll say this, and then we can move to the next storyline because there's so many, which is the point. The 2 topics we talked about with WWE were both involving belts, and you consider that main event. Elias, I'm assuming is what you mean by that. This is something that took up over half an hour, 15, 20 minutes of the show. 15. That is the first thing we're talking about within this company. And to me, that means it's a main.
AJ and Grayson Waller took up a lot of time.
Yeah, they gave him a lot of time. They gave Daniel Garcia a lot of time in the main event, too. You're going to talk about that?
Oh, yes, we are.
Before we get to that,
I'm talking about the
story.
I agree with Angel. I agree with Angel on this one because I think that I agree with Angel, whatever he's saying.
They made it a big deal, is what Angel. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe I just want to see Adam Cole separate and let the tag teams do their own thing while Adam Cole's being a badass. Is that fair?
Adam Cole can't be a badass right now. He can. He is. He is a badass.
No, Matt, he can go out there and be like, I broke Jake Atlas's ankle or leg on his debut. And you are automatic.
But that's not how professional wrestling works. You know that. Come on. You've been watching wrestling long enough to know that they don't do that.
I understand, but is that fair enough for me to say maybe I just want to separate it from the teams?
I agree. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I get where you're coming from, but tone it down.
Sorry. All right, moving on.
The next big story beat.
I don't care about this.
A couple segments later.
I don't care about this.
House. You don't care about House of Black.
I think if you want to talk about Adam Cole being booked worse in AEW versus NXT, which I disagree with, I think there is a very strong statement to be said that Malachi Black is booked worse than in NXT.
It's horrible.
Comparatively to NXT. Now you can't talk about Raw, obviously main roster. You cannot. But NXT, they have hurt Malachi Black. They're trying to improve it, but you do not improve it by putting him against a very green Brian Pillman Jr., who can't get over in his own hometown, and you do not put him against a very attractive-looking, long-haired man, unlike myself, with blonde hair, and then a girl that is, honestly, she's not over. Like, this is a group that nobody cares about, or I think this is bad. I think that this is not good, but I don't think it can stay bad forever. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to see what it evolves from it. But I will say House of Black is my least cared about thing that AEW has done in a very long time.
This is the equivalent of the first quarter of the movie. And Malachi is finally getting to put forth the story I think he wanted to initially, where you can't start, right? You can't start with the best mid cards. You got to get to those lower feuds. And that's a great way to bring in all of this stuff. And I think there's a lot more to the story that is in front of our face. And we're going to be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. And then there's some stuff that I think we do all see coming.
See, this is one place. The last thing I want to say about this, and then because I don't feel comfortable talking more about it, but I just want to say this one thing. This is a situation where a storyline does need to end in a belt. In my opinion, like, this is a storyline that, for me personally, to care more about it, it would need to end with Malachi Black somehow getting that world title. Otherwise, I don't think it will. Otherwise, I think this storyline's very pointless.
I think they're going to win the tag titles. I think that's why Lucha and Jungle Boy win it. They're going to be transitional.
I will say this. I heard an interview with Malachi Black where he said that his current run hasn't gone as he wanted, but I think right now they're trying to let him take reins of his character and go the way he wants to go. So I'm expecting to see better things. I enjoyed Brody King's debut. I did.
I don't care.
I'm a big Brody King.
What's good about this guy? What's good about this guy?
He's really good in the ring.
No, he's charisma, really tattoos.
Stop with the no charisma comment, boys. They're all in. Stop it. Stop with.
You just don't like
you
people.
Can't just go to that every time you want to say something. You can't just use no charisma. That's why I don't. No, stop that. Stop.
But we'll see where it goes. I know I like the I will say one thing about it that may be leading to something big with the House of Black. Pac's beignet was a real good beignet on him about thanking Malachi or promo, whatever he did.
Vignette made me really hungry for like those like little bread things with cream inside.
His promo, the promo, that backstage segment that he did was, I thought that had a lot to tie into that House of Black stuff, which would be pretty interesting to see what happens next with that.
That's TikTok.
It is.
Yeah, I'm definitely clipping that. 58 minutes.
So, moving on, I think we've talked enough about it because it's very entered. One of the big storyline beats as well. Yeah, Lance Archer, I think, popping up, right?
I think that's a really good first feud. I think that's a great feud for Hangman. I think it's great.
The guy knocks himself out.
Only reason I don't like it is Archer hasn't. I want him to start winning, man. I like the guy. You know?
Okay. I'm gonna change everyone's mind on this right now. It should be Brian Cage, because Brian Cage is actually beating Hangman Page.
Yeah, but what? He's gonna go crying on Twitter again?
No, that was his wife.
It's better than doing a moonsault and knocking yourself out.
This guy. Injuries.
Let's see you do a moonsault. Let's see you do a moonsault as good as Matt Hardy.
Yeah, come on,
I
boys.
wouldn't.
Come on.
I was. Matt Hardy's my favorite. I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about Lance Archer.
I will say this, and we'll move on. I think
Matt Hardy.
One thing that I kind of have disliked that AEW has done with their big men is their booking, but I feel like once this Lance Archer story arc goes through, I know he's gonna lose. I don't think he's gonna win the title off of Hangman. But I think that it'll be a good showing for Lance Archer. Hopefully they could put him somewhere where he gets more wins than losses. But I want him to be in more relatively good feuds in 2022.
Agreed.
Moving on, the Kingston Jericho thing. I don't know. I don't.
I want to hear what Angel has to say about this. I really do. I really, really, really want to hear what you have to say about this because I have a pretty strong opinion.
Can we add the
about
main
it?
event to this? Just convolute it because it was all happening at once.
Yeah, like we'll talk. Like Garcia, Sammy Guevara had a match that was like just a very good match in general, but then it just kind of escalated into what turned into 2.0, getting involved after Sammy won it and got given the belt, and it was a fine really match. Oh my gosh, yeah, stop!
It was a good match. I just didn't like the ending.
It's a fine match.
I felt that. The
guy botched the finisher.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
He was
tired. The finisher was botched.
That did look bad. That looked real bad.
Yeah,
but the match itself was fine.
The match itself was fine. I just thought that the finisher was botched. Like,
so then it wasn't botched. It just didn't look as good. He still hit the move.
It was botched. That's a botch, sir.
Like, his knee was a little.
What do you clarify as a botch? What's a botch? Just like missing.
What's
complete?
A botch?
A botch is like what Pillman did the other week, where the guy
fell off the
rope.
That's
a botch.
This is that was still a botch.
Okay. 2.0 comes in and attacks. Jericho comes in with the bat. He starts hitting people. Kingston comes in as well. And then they get up in each other's faces. Before this happened, earlier in the night, there was a promo where the Inner Circle was talking about how great they are. Eddie Kingston shows up and he's like, stay out of my business, you Chris Jericho fool. And he's like, I'll get up in your business. And he's like, I dare you to get up in my business. And then they started, and then it just got ugly. Okay. And now this is obviously going to be something set up in the future for Jericho and Kingston. I'm annoyed at it because I want Kingston to win more matches, and I feel like
he's going to win. I think he's going to win.
See, I don't understand why you guys seem so serious about. Not serious. That's the wrong word. What's the word I'm thinking of? Confident. Yeah, thank you. Adamant. Confident. Like, why do you feel that way? Because the way that Kingston trends in his matches is he gives wins to other people. Like Jericho, like CM Punk, like Cody Rhodes, like Miro. Like, tell me why Jericho does not fit the bill of the people that Kingston has lost to.
Jericho will put him over.
Lost too.
Jericho's lost, but he also beat MJF.
Yeah, but that was kind of a stipulation to pay off.
Agreed, but they did that and he still won it. But like, so that's my point. Is like, what about? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel confident. I would never feel confident saying that Kingston is going to win this match.
I will say this: if it leads to the implosion of the Inner Circle and Santana and Ortiz turning on Jericho,
I don't think that's going to happen.
I could see a payoff with that. But other than that, I don't have confidence that me myself. I think that I'm 50-50 on this. I think that there's a possibility that Jericho does put over Kingston, but the booking that has happened with Kingston has me worried that he won't go over Jericho.
I don't think he will. And I don't think that the Inner Circle is imploding anytime soon. I just want to say, I don't feel like that's going to be a group that never implodes. It'll just stop wrestling together for a little while until they need a big pop.
I agree. We said the same thing about the Shield, and look what happened.
I never said that about the Shield. I disagree with that. The only time there was a quote unquote implosion inside of the Inner Circle, they did it so well, so they allowed it. Honest to God, like one of the best stable turns of all time in professional wrestling is the turn from heel to face of the Inner Circle. It was so well done. So well done. And that's one of the reasons why they'll be around forever, is because they're no longer a heel group. So they don't need to implode on each other to turn somebody.
And
they already are.
I know Elias loves LAX. Heel LAX is never winning the titles if face LAX hasn't gotten it. Like, you want LAX to stay face. That's the only way to win the titles.
I agree.
Okay, I just don't get. Okay, one thing that I will say that Kingston did bring up that kind of caught my interest was him telling Santana and Ortiz, "You've been with Jericho and you're still not tag team champions." That stood out to me because
that was one of the few times that they've written Kingston right, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like that's why I'm saying that the only way that I can see it paying off is if that happens. Not saying it's going to happen, but that would be one of the key things, just looking at that one particular statement that he said that kind of stood out to me, that made me come up with that little conspiracy theory.
We still got Hard to Kill to get to, so let's move on to
let me ask one question really quick. Sorry.
Okay.
So who here likes Daniel Garcia?
I'm not talking about this.
No,
I'm not
going
going to talk about this. I'm
No,
not
no,
going to
no,
talk
no.
about this.
I-
What is your question? What is your question?
I've got a legitimate question. So
What do you mean by like? Define the way that you want me to explain.
Is he someone you watch a match and you're like, okay, he deserves to be in AEW over some of the people that aren't?
Yes.
Like name somebody. Give me an example.
Somebody.
Kenny King.
Like
Kenny
Daniel
King.
Garcia is better than
King.
Ace Austin, huh?
Kenny King.
Kenny King. I don't know enough about Kenny King.
Okay, and he's not better than Ace Austin, not better than Josh Alexander, not better than Jonah.
He is better than Ace Austin. He is.
No, he isn't.
He's not better than not better than Josh Alexander. But
you're going based off of gimmick.
Ace Austin is an Impact and has more followers on Twitter than this guy. Daniel Garcia is as bland as Von Wagner.
Agreed.
From 3 weeks ago. Like,
totally bland.
I would rather
great in the ring.
I would rather rewatch Great Khali's run as the Punjabi Playboy than watch a Daniel Garcia.
Moise, that's not a stretch for you. Moise, that's not a stretch.
That's just overreaching.
Moise.
Anyways, moving on. Shida versus Serena Deeb.
Daniel Garcia is a guy.
Just mute him. Mute him. You have the power, Elias. Mute him. Just mute him. Anyway,
Shida versus Serena Deeb. I thought this match was one of the best women matches on the card this week.
I thought it was one of the best women matches they've had.
Bar none.
And I think they've had decent matches. Don't get me wrong. I think this was the best form of storytelling in a match for women so far, in my opinion.
I think
they have it.
They're getting right.
It was supposed to be a competitive match between two people who have already had competitive matches against each other, and it turned into a great squash match with Serena D looking like not only $1 million, but looking like a world eater, like just a monster of a woman, just like a destroyer of like quote unquote great wrestlers. If they continue with this gimmick of her doing that kind of thing to other women, that's great. If it's a one-time thing just so they can build up Shida to beat Deed later, then that's a problem for me. That's an annoyance of booking like that. But this match in a hyper chamber, to me, great job.
I think Serena Deeb is one of the people that they're giving her flowers to, because she's great in the ring. She's a great technical wrestler as well, and she's a big part of AEW. And even in NXT, she was a big part of NXT before she left. So, I really appreciate the fact that they're giving Serena her flowers and making her look good on TV. But either way, last thing before we hop off of AEW and go into Impact's Hard to Kill. Are we bored with the MJF CM Punk?
Let's do a round table on it. And give everyone just a couple of minutes to say what they feel.
No, Elias put this in there just because he's anti-AEW.
Which is fine. Let's do a round table.
I have an interesting thing about it, and it's not even. Fine. Yeah, go ahead. What are your thoughts on this story?
Kick it off with Moise. Moise, give us just your quick, give us no more than 3 minutes.
I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. I was fading out. This week's storyline pulled me back in.
Okay. I will. Let me give you my side of it now. I don't think that I'm bored with CM Punk versus MJF and their promo and their feud. I'm annoyed with seeing another one of those, the same thing that we saw with the Jericho stuff with the now you want the match. Well, next week you're going to have a match against Wardlow. Well, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, next week you're going to have a match against Shawn Spears. Like, the thing is, MJF, as great of a heel as he is and a great professional wrestler, he is not the leader of a group in the way that they push him to be, in my opinion. I know that's like, I'm more money than you, therefore I can do it. But it doesn't work right in that respect. I feel like they have to get away with it. They got away with it with Chris Jericho because they did the contract. They did this thing where Chris Jericho was like on his last leg and he needed to prove to himself that he could still do it, blah, blah, blah. And they did a great job with the five stages of Jericho thing, right?
Cody
but
had
the whole
labors too, yeah.
Yeah, but this I don't like. I don't like. Next week you have a match against Shawn Spears, and then next week after that it's going to be well, now you have a tag team match against FTR. Like, it's annoying. I think they're both great on the mic. I think that it's a good storyline in general, and I think it's another one of those good storylines that I want to watch that doesn't need a title belt to end the happiness of it. But MJF has to do something different after this one. That's all I'm saying.
I liked the idea of Punk saying, "Okay, my only goal now is to prevent you from getting the title." I think that's the story that they need to push, personally. And if that's Punk continuing to get wins to the point where MJF, we know what he does. He takes the easy wins to build his record up. Well, the next time it happens, is Punk gonna interfere again? Like that's a good story beat that I think is unique. I don't think we've seen it ever really that I can think of, right?
No,
Because wins and
we
losses
rarely
haven't
see
really
that
mattered.
kind of thing.
So I think it's a very intriguing story, personally. The way they're getting there, can they do it better? Sure, maybe. But the story itself, I think, is very intriguing. So I don't think I'm definitely not bored of it.
So I'm not bored, but I am annoyed. I like the fact that I agree with Angel. I like the fact that CM Punk trying to mess with MJS record is key to this storyline. But the way that they're doing the matches goes, I agree with Matt because of the fact that I don't want to see him have to go like any MJF major feud has gone through those stages of you face this, you face that, you face this person to lead up to MJF. Like I would rather see CM Punk continuing to mess up MJF's record without him having to do in a match,
hurt it
and
too
then
much though, because he needs a title match still. You can't hurt it too much. But okay, let me ask you one last question. We'll get off of this. At the end of the day, you gotta think like Tony Khan. You gotta think TNT. You want CM Punk on TV every week. It's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't.
It's not the most effective. It's not the most effective. It's the easiest.
Yeah, but they need to create something else out of this. Is all I'm saying.
Well, Wardlow's going to turn. Is that not enough?
He didn't turn on this episode though.
He
should have been there last. He should have been the last person CM Punk fought.
Here's how I think it's going to end. I think Wardlow's going to get fired by MJF. Punk's going to be like, if I beat you, Wardlow's back. That's legit where I think it's going.
I don't. You know what? I've learned to trust you, Moise, for the most part. So, like, I'm definitely
Angel,
not going to say that.
What are your thoughts?
My last subject point was just I think the unique part of this is it's the heel getting his comeuppance without realizing it too, right? How do you get to the top of the rankings? By winning. Well, I'm going to give you these people that I know maybe aren't as good as me in MJF's mind. He's not realizing, crap, I'm giving him wins. He's ahead of me now in the rankings. I'm going to have to go through him to get where I want to be now. And it's because of his fault. I think there's a psychological thing there that's interesting. Again, I think it's interesting personally. So
I think it's intriguing, but here's the main question before we hop off. Who wins when this match happens?
I think that's the one reason why I care about this match more than a lot of other matches.
Who wins?
I feel like I've had enough time knowing who's going to win certain matches when they happen, and I feel like this is one of those matches that I can say who I want to win the match, but I can't say with certainty they're going to. Nor do I like MJF is who I want to win this match, but I don't know if that's the case.
If Punk wins, Wardlow loses. If Punk loses, Wardlow wins.
What?
What the hell was that? You just spat.
It's two feuds leading. It's two guys feuding with one person. I think if Punk wins the feud, Wardlow will lose the feud to MJF. And I think
that would be terrible. That'd be terrible booking.
I know, but I'm saying the other way too. I think if MJF beats Punk, I think Wardlow beats MJF.
I think regardless, Wardlow wins. But that's just easy. That's the most told story.
So you give MJF two pay-per-view losses back to back?
I think MJF could take that. I don't
think MJF could take it.
Yeah,
I think he could 100% take it. He's a mega heel. People want him to lose.
But everyone is
Roddy Piper built his whole.
But everyone's saying they want him to lose the title, or they want Hangman to lose the title to him.
Who's everybody?
I don't think we've talked about it plenty of times. 100%, I agree. But like, I don't think that's the way that this is directing. I do not believe that.
Yeah. Either way, it's.
But I trust you, Moise. I do trust you.
All right.
You can intertwine those two, and they don't have to.
At
the same time.
We'll talk more about it as it goes. I'm pretty sure we're gonna bring it up a little bit more once because there's still gonna be a couple of more segments between this before the.
Let's
final
talk about
match
Hard to
happens.
Kill, though. Let's talk about it.
All right, match of the night, gentlemen. Match of the night. In your opinion, what was your match of the night for Hard to Kill?
I think that it was for me. Oh, let's go in order. Sorry. I'm just going to start talking like I usually do.
No, since you did, you just go ahead and say it.
All right. My match of the night, I think this is tough because Josh Alexander versus Jonah was better than I expected. It was it was a good damn match, but I have to go with Jonathan Gresham versus Chris Sabin. 100%. That was the best match of the evening by a long shot. If you wanted to actually see a professional wrestling match that felt like this, I don't know, just this wonderful legitimacy sport to it. I love the pure rules. I love the idea that you can't have more than 3 rope breaks. I think that keeping the idea of ROH alive is a great thing that they did, and I think that helps kind of go into the story of what they did. I really, really like that match. That was my match of the night by far.
Angel.
Trey Miguel.
That's
Steve
good match.
Macklin.
Miguel and Macklin. Oh, good.
That match fucking started heavy. That was
Really good match.
Yeah.
And these are guys I don't watch Impact. Guys, y'all forced me to watch this stuff, and that match caught my eye. I want to see more Trey Miguel.
very good.
Moist.
Who was Trey Miguel somebody else? Did he have a different gimmick?
No,
he was.
He was
part of the
with
Rascals.
the Rascal. Yeah, he was with the Rascals.
He was with MSK.
Oh, okay. There was something
he-
really familiar about him,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
do I know him from a different name? That's what I kept thinking.
Yeah,
He's
he
always
chose
been
was
Trey
a-
Miguel, but he's been part of the
Okay.
Rascals before.
He was a pothead. Now he's Spider-Man.
There you go.
That's the gimmick.
thing.
That's the gimmick.
Being there live, everyone knows I'm a Cardona mark, but I'm not going to give it to the Cardona. I'm going to give it to. I'm
I
going
was
to give
hoping
it
for
to,
that.
No, I'm going to give it to Jonah and Josh Alexander because I think the most unexpected crowd pop was when Alexander jumped into the crowd. That crowd went wild. You saw beer flying everywhere. Yeah, it was exciting.
That one had, I think, some of the best spots of the whole evening. Was the Josh and Jonah. I think they both sold for each other so well.
Those are 2 guys that can wrestle anywhere in the world. I think Japan, AEW, WWE. Yeah,
I agree.
I think my match of the night in general was the 10-man Hardcore War. I really enjoyed that match. I thought, with the exception of the RH Invasion, which lasted a little bit too long, I really liked some of the spots in that match.
They did a really bad job with the ROH Invasion by not talking about it, by not actually describing the people, by not describing kind of what was happening.
but then it looks scripted. You can't do that.
These are people that know professional wrestlers and who they are. And they were just like,
No, but-
who is this? Oh my God, who's this? Oh no!
Remember? Whoa! We loved it when Nexus invaded WWE.
You never asked my opinion of that. Ask my opinion
I'm
of that.
sure you did.
Ask
you
my
hated
opinion.
it? You hated it?
No, I didn't hate it. I was watching NXT and WWE side by side. Not everybody is watching ROH and Impact side by side because they are 2 different fan bases at the end of the day.
Very different.
That is not a development
Yeah,
for
I'll give you
Impact. So that's all I'm
And
saying is there would have been nothing wrong with them being like, why is X, Y, and Z person here now? Why did he show up? I didn't want them to be like, oh, he's 6'5" and he's 207 pounds and he's won the ROH title 3 times. I didn't want that.
I care about everyone from ROH except for PCO. I think that guy's overrated.
Who did he used to be?
That's an Elias question. He's been around
Oh,
forever.
He looks so familiar.
I've always known him as PCO. I've always known him as PCO.
Maybe that's how I know him too, because I was like, "Who is this guy? Why is he familiar?"
I will say this that the that going back
PCO.
to one.
Who is he?
Who is he?
He was part of the Quebecers.
That's where I know him from. Legitimately, that is, I swear to God, where I know him from, because I watch Reliving the War on Wrestling Bios. I swear to God, I was like, why does he look so familiar? And that's why, because of YouTube watching classic wrestling reviews. That's why.
Holy shit!
That is old school.
Yo,
Jesus.
no cussing, Elias.
Oh my gosh, I'm surprised, Elias, you didn't say the X Division Championship match.
I was actually
question.
I was actually going to bring that up. I was actually going to bring it up.
Oh,
as
well,
like
we
a
got one more
highlight.
person for match of the night. Angel.
No,
No, I said Yeah, I said
You
the
said
X Division.
Macklin.
I said Trey Miguel and Steve Macklin.
Trey Miguel
That's the
Macklin.
I'm
X
talking
Division.
about the X Division Championship knockout.
No, but that's
Sorry,
what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that because
That's what I
the
meant.
highlight that are worth talking about.
Is it a highlight?
I think that the women, for it to be a first time for them
First
to do a
time
match like
match?
this,
It was
First
a
time
high
match.
spot match. I agree. But I have a question and this kind of goes to Moyes more than anybody because I think Moyes is the biggest Impact fan. Am I wrong?
No,
Moyes,
probably.
do you believe that Impact kind of gets a little bit of a bye for being sloppy?
I think they do now because they've built up the everyone that craps on Impact is never going to say they have a horrible knockouts division, they have a horrible tag team division. Those are two things they will always get a buy for. Would you agree?
I don't know. Like I want your opinion.
I agree
Because I think there was
I would
multiple
still say-
sloppy moments in this card, in this entirety card, okay? And especially in that first X Division match or Ultimate X match, sorry. But I get it because it's an Ultimate X match. I get that. I do. But I feel like they get an extra level of like, we understand they're kind of like, the little brother, and we're just going to let them kind of scoot along.
I'll put it like this. I think this match was a first time.
It's the first time women have ever competed in it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Too.
So for it to be a first time, like even like the first time we had Money in the Bank, in WWE, the match was kind of sloppy too. So, and any first time that you do because even the first Elimination Chamber was kind of sloppy too. Like anytime you have a first of anything, you're always gonna expect some kind of sloppiness. But for what the women did, Lady Frost was one of the ones that was actually, even the high spots that she did was one of the MVPs of this match, in my opinion.
I will say that this match was sloppy, but I would still take it over that women's tag team elimination chamber thing WWE did.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm not just talking about this match in particular. I think this one's just kind of like the antithesis of it. Through that, the entirety, I feel like there's a level of sloppiness that's allowed. Like the Moose and Morrissey and Macedona, a little sloppy. Hardcore War, a little sloppy. It's a hardcore match. We get it. Three-way match. We get it. The Trey Miguel, I thought was very solid the whole way through. The Jonathan Gresham match was solid all the way through. ROH match, though. And Josh Alexander and Jonah were even a little bit sloppy at parts. Huh?
But those are the matches that are supposed to be the technical stories, right? X Division is a never open weight, right?
And I thought the Texas Death Match Impact Women's Knockout Championship match was, and I'm going to say this in the most respectful way I can because I love Mickie James, but like that match was trash. That match was a bad match. It was sloppy. It was poorly put together.
The rules were horrible.
The rules were absolute garbage. And then even more than that, only one woman in that match cared about that match. Mickie James was the only person that cared about that match. And Deonna Purrazzo was a bad sport it didn't want to take, like, I agree with her. I don't want to take a bump inside a bunch of thumbtacks. I don't want to. But I didn't sign up for it.
If she took those bumps, there would be pictures of her all over the internet. I don't blame her.
What? Do you mean you don't blame her? She's in a Texas death match.
Dude, her pants were legit falling off, Matt. Like, I'm not kidding when I'm telling you this.
I don't know what you're talking about. I did not see that. I tried to rewatch a little bit of it. What do you mean her pants were falling off? So, why would her back getting in pins make her pants fall off?
I don't want to talk about like women's wardrobe. Like I don't think it's my place, right?
Why'd you bring it up?
You literally
because it is something you could see Brian Hebner talking to Deonna about when they went off.
You're telling me that the reason she did not take big bumps.
Say that.
You're telling me the reason she didn't take big bumps was because her pants might fall off.
I can tell. I'll tell you what I think off air. I don't want to say.
Elias, what was your thoughts? Elias, what did you think of that match?
So I thought this wasn't the best match they've had. I like the match before, the one when Mickie won the title off of Deonna, better than this one. But I will say that it felt like a lot of Deonna's mood, which I don't want to say is true because I don't want to like kind of like start some stuff that may not be true. But I feel that ever since they announced that Mickie James was going to the Rumble, I felt like the plans of the title. I felt like Deonna was supposed to win this match, and you could tell by Deonna's reaction to the
when did they go off air? What happened when they went off air? How did it go off air?
I don't know. You were there. You tell me.
No, off air, like off air to y'all. Yeah.
I don't know.
What the last thing I saw was Mickey James sitting in the chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they went out there.
So Gail Kim and Bruce Pritchard come out. Deanna runs to the top. She's fixing whatever's going on with her pants. And Roxy walks in too.
I like Roxy.
At what point did she rip her pants? I'm watching these highlights right now, and like
it's not
Mickey James.
Matt, I will tell you everything.
Okay.
We'll talk about this.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And Matt, I went to the show with people that will also vouch. Like,
okay,
yeah,
okay. So
I don't got anything else to say.
I think we talked about all the matches. The triple threat, was it anything about the triple threat that stood out to you?
I don't like Moose, and I still don't like him.
I think Moose is the most believable champion in wrestling after Roman and Brock right now.
Wow. That's a big statement.
Dude played with Tom Brady. He has championship mentality.
He's living that TB12 lifestyle. Is there anything else about the
Angel, is there anyone on AEW that you think it looks more like a champion than Moose?
We're going with looks, not qualities. Okay.
No, I'm saying looks. Yeah, I'm not saying wrestling skill. No. I'm just saying looks. Like, he looks like a badass, looks like he's half a title.
I tell you what, Hangman would kick my ass if I saw him in person. So yes, he looks like a champion.
Moose's ass.
We just saw Poirier get defeated by a little scrawny kid from Brazil.
Yeah, that's true.
What are you talking about?
Doesn't mean anything.
I'm just saying, when Matt, when Justin saw a picture of Moose, what did he say? Or when he saw a picture of Hangman, this guy looks flabby. They really have him looking like this on TV. That's what Justin said.
Yeah, but he also doesn't watch it. So
okay, and tell you what, you know who else would knock you out real quick?
Hangman.
Hangman.
All of them, every single one of them. You know who would knock the shit out of Moise?
Who's the
Daniel Garcia
in the world right now?
Not Daniel Garcia. I promise you that.
That's who would knock the
Daniel
Moise
Garcia
on his
can't
butt.
Pick me up. I'll swear Daniel Garcia can't pick me up.
Oh, I guarantee you he could. He lifted up Eddie Kingston a couple weeks ago.
He can.
I want Daniel Garcia to come to Texas and to Dallas, and I want and if he does, and
I'll
he
do
goes
anything
to any
we can.
indie event,
I'll pay however much
indie
a
event in
cameo
Dallas.
is. I'll pay for his booking fee.
I'll pay everything. We got to get my brother to book him, and then we can just set up a whole angle with Moise and Daniel Garcia.
Your brother wouldn't waste the money. Because that's what he is.
Well, ask the question. No. Why are you saying that? I'm gonna ask the question to Justin. What does he think about Daniel Garcia?
Why are we back on Daniel Garcia?
Yeah, let's get away from. I don't care about Daniel Garcia either. Like, none of us care enough about him. Moise, you are the biggest mark for Daniel Garcia. You are. You absolutely are, and you can't deny that.
I am.
You can't.
I am. I want him and Von Wagner to have an offspring, and just that be my next Hulk Hogan.
He won.
Anyway, I think we're done here.
I think so.
We are
overall.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. As you saw, this is going to be a chaotic.
We're going to try not to be chaotic. We're going to try to get some structure.
And Matt, you know I love Hangman. I've said it multiple weeks.
I know.
I love Hangman.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week. And
I know.
Hope you join us next week, and hope you join us in the future weeks. We'll be back with another episode. If you want to watch the replay, watch us on our Facebook channel, on our YouTube, and our Twitch channel. But we'll be back live next week at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with another live episode of Weekly Wrestling Heat. Hope you can watch the replay. And make sure you sub and hit the bell icon. Make sure you sub to our channels. Make sure you sub to our YouTube, our Twitch, and our Facebook. Like our Facebook. And we'll be coming out with a Facebook group as well, where we can interact with y'all and get to know more of y'all. As always, you can follow us on our social media pages on Weekly Wrestling Heat on Facebook, Instagram, _Wrestling Heat on Twitter, Weekly Wrestling Heat on TikTok, and Weekly Wrestling Heat TV on Twitch. And as always, from everybody here in the team, thank you and good night. Peace.
Bang. I thought we were going with a bang.